thing on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anybody here under public comment that would like to speak? Nobody's let us know. Okay. So the first order of business is I'm going to take the privilege as the chair to open up the floor. I don't know where Jaime is. We were going to spend some time recognizing Jaime and Tracy, their last official board meetings with us as members of the board. And
you said you weren't going to cry.
I know. And I think it's really important that we do that because, oh, good.
Quick, pay attention to Jaime.
Just in time. Hi, Jaime. Yes, you came just in time. I was saying that I'm going to open up the floor, and it's really important that we recognize the service of Tracy and Jaime on the board. This is their last meeting with us as members of the board. At the next time we meet, we will be meeting a couple of new board members. You want to give these with you?
Sure. Dr. Gomez.
Well, you should say it out loud. Say it into the mic so people can hear.
I just said that I wanted to thank Dr. Gomez for his service to the students of Windham Public Schools. We greatly appreciate your contributions, and we're going to miss you.
Thank you
Let's
very
get a
much.
picture of you holding this. Tracy, like to recognize you. Also.
Tracy said she wasn't going to cry today when we talked this afternoon. She's not crying. We're going to miss you both and really do appreciate all you've done for the students.
So, I mean, that's not, oh, you're not going to get away, you're not going to get away so easily. I just want to, I'm going to open it up to other board members to share a remembrance about Tracy and or Jaime, or both of them. I want to say that I remember meeting Tracy when she was a young mom with babies in a stroller and just getting involved in politics and running for the Board of Ed. And one of the things that strikes me most about you, Tracy, is not just your many years of service to the board, but your mind is like a encyclopedic trap. It just, you remember more things about what we have done, what we said we would do, what we could be doing, and it's been such an asset to have you on the board and bring that level of work and dedication to all the committees that you've served on, and It's really been, a pleasure to see you do this work. And Jaime, you have upheld real standards of professionalism and attention to setting goals and marks for ourselves. And particularly, you have shown, I think, in your attention to the detail around things such as evaluation and setting standards for achievement for us as a Board of Education. And just really want to thank you both for all of your work. And I'd like you each to remind us how many years you've been on the board.
Tonight, we'll be finishing my 12th year.
12th year. And Jaime? 8 years for Jaime. So without anything more, I'm going to open it up the floor. Is there anybody on the board who wants to? Ilda? Make sure you speak into the mic.
Okay, I had to write something because I don't do good off the cuff. I don't have your phenomenal memory. Can you hear me now? So I'll go with Jaime first. I wish you all the best on your journey. I remember when I first ran for my seat 4 years ago. You were so helpful. We even came close in our numbers and we were bragging about it. I beat you by 30. You've always been so kind to me and respectful, and I appreciated that. I will miss you. Tracy, Miss Tracy. I met Tracy when I was doing the Parent Seed program. I looked up to you so much. I've always looked up to you, especially your memory for detail. It's amazing. Like she said, like Lynn said, encyclopedia. I didn't think I'd be where you are now. But because of you, I do believe that I can stand up, I have stood up, and I can speak out for our students and our families. I've learned a lot from you, Tracy. I would love it if you did some advising for us. I think your knowledge of the practices is invaluable. I will miss you sitting across from me. And I'm sad to see you go. I truly am. I wish you the best.
And thank you for the coffee.
You're welcome. Now you have a cup to put it into.
Is there anybody else who would like to say anything? Mark?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge I haven't had a lot of time with Jaime or Jamie, but I appreciated the time we had together on the board. And I want to acknowledge Tracy, that I've worked with her for over 12 years before the board and part of the politics and on the Board of Ed. And I've known her to be a committed and dedicated worker to whatever she agrees to do. I've enjoyed our interactions on the board, and I'm going to miss those moments, though I know we'll still be talking. And I am happy to hear that she's going to stay on the Windham High School Renovate as New, because that's a major project. So I'm happy to see that she'll still be working on that project.
Well, Jaime, I am proud to have had such an illustrious, smart, and committed Latino man in our Board of Education, as all our children need diverse staff and diverse members of the community to represent them, so thank you. And Tracy, I'm gonna cry.
Welcome to the club.
I've learned to love you. Yes, you are a wealth of information, and I have argued with you, joined with you, voted with you, and I admire and respect all the commitment you have towards the children in Windham. So thank you for your service also.
Mary?
Thank you. Thank you, Jaime, for being on the board and fellow member who offered a lot of perspective, especially on those questions about the ethics of having a process, doing evaluations, being cohesive as a group. I mean, that's a very important perspective to have and to share opinions. And with Tracy, I mean, we've all seen how she's an exemplary board member, but you know, I really just remember the activism and the passion to, you know, get the high school project passed. I mean, every budget passed. You know, it's always something to advocate for. And I also just can't forget the very first lockdown and how she went so far to make the students have a meaningful year as they ended their high school careers, taking photos, you know, and there's always field trips, there's always extra things. Tracy is always trying to make sure the students have those cherished memories, and, you know, it's just wonderful to see that. So I will always remember that aspect, and of course, I'm sure I'll see you and continuing to do that for every student in Windham. So thank you.
Brendan.
Jaime, thank you for your service. It's great to have a dedicated professional individual who has helped lead this board for so long. You know, it's greatly appreciated. Tracy, you know, we started our time working with Windham Schools almost together.
Oh, really?
The number of projects we've worked on together, and you've always, no matter what you've done, you've kept the students at the forefront of your mind in making sure we're doing what's best for them. And your passion for them, your advocacy for them is absolutely amazing. And thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it, and I'm going to miss working with you deeply. Thank you.
Paula?
Jaime, we didn't get to work too long together on the board, but I was always amazed that as quiet as you are, you would come up with those very important questions that needed to be addressed. You always found that one thing that we needed to really pay attention to, and I certainly respect you for that. Tracy, it's been a while. We didn't serve together too long on the board, but I've known you for a while, and I have always respected and been amazed at your ability to remember things and come up with the answers that we so needed. There's no question about your dedication to our kids, and that is something that we greatly respect. And I know you. You're going to stay busy and stay active, and that's always going to be appreciated, kiddo.
Is there anything that you'd like to say, Tracy and Jaime?
Well, I wish Dr. Youngberg would have told me that I was a liar when I said I wasn't going to cry tonight. But for those of you who have watched me over the years, I cry when I'm happy, I cry when I'm sad, I cry when I'm angry, I cry when I'm frustrated, I cry at my kids instead of yell at them. It has been an honor for the past 12 years to serve. Brendan, we did start about the same time, and there were many a meeting that I was texting you asking questions before I opened my big mouth and something came out. I've been honored. Mark and Paula were on the board when I first got on, and then left me for a little while to fight with Dr. Adamaski, and then came back to save me. I just want you all to know how very important the work we are is. How very important the work we do is, and that you need to keep fighting the good fight with those of the community that are against us, with those parents who don't think we're doing what's right, who don't have all the information, even some who do, who have the best intentions. You guys have to ask for all the information and make educated and data-filled decisions forever for these kids. I said when my kids were done that I was done, and that has come to fruition. And I'm thrilled to be free on Wednesday nights because I will be sitting at home having an adult beverage, watching y'all on YouTube and laughing If you think you're done with me, you're crazy, because you will see me at budget meetings and finance meetings and some contract negotiation stuff that we have to finish up. And I will be honored to still serve the district in any way you have. I've told Dr. Youngberg, I've told a few other members, I'm keeping all the paperwork in my office till January. If you want something, send me a text or an email. I will put a Post-it on it, and then I will do a document dump. And Ms. Testa won't be here in January, so that's why I'm waiting till January. But I'm happy to be knowledge, background information, and any other service that I can be. I had Lynn pick up a bunch of Vote Yes signs that have been sitting in my garage. I kept a few for my yard, and I will help put them out. I will help make phone calls, letters to the editor, calls to parents, emails, whatever you guys need me to do. My love for the children in this district does not end tonight. Certainly it will go on for a long time. I've made a lot of friends sitting around this table. Some people I've respectfully disagreed with, Dr. Gomez. But we've always come to amicable conclusions, and we've always remained friends through it all. I consider the people in this room some of the best friends and colleagues that I have ever had. And I look forward to seeing what you guys can do. And when you screw up, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire.
Jaime?
Well, like Tracy, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for your support. The constituents, I was just trying to do my best for them. They supported me, they brought me here, and I also believed in Windham system of education. I wanted the best, and that's why I came here. I like to believe that we have cemented, foundation for a better future. All of you, working with all of you, all the previous ones. And I'm well aware, I'm gonna say I heard this popular saying once that goes like, the failures, we write on the sand, and the successes, we carve them on stone. Although we do learn from those failures, and there were some, I like to think, stress, and take that we did have some successes. And I was part of some, others did much more than I did, and I like to credit Ms. Lambert, for the new high school, Mary, and many others, I think I like to also thank teachers, for the great job they do all the time. You just went through a period. We're still going, we see light at the end of the tunnel, but we still are in that tunnel, okay? But we see a light, and we're approaching it. The administration, Dr. Youngberg, and everyone else. I see them back there, and I do thank you very much for all your work. It's really appreciated, and the kids certainly, are benefit from the hard work that you're doing. With that, I'm very proud to have been, to have served and been working with you again, all of you. Good luck. And if I can be of help, I still will support you anytime, anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was an exhibit of poetry from you, Jaime, and some passion from Tracy there. So we very much appreciate it. I think our new incoming principal from North Windham is here. And I'm going to ask Dr. Youngberg to introduce him, and then I'm going to ask if we could just suspend the meeting for like 10 minutes or so, and just make sure that we all get a chance to
And we mixed up the times, which is why we didn't make it to the meet and greet. I was actually going to start off tonight by telling you that sometimes when you're really patient, good things happen, and Mr. De La Barrera actually wasn't in our first round of the committee interviews, and Katina knows because she's one of our North Windham School committee members who took part in the interviews, and he wasn't in our first round, and we didn't actually have a finalist. And then after we went through that, his application showed up, so it was waiting around. He is the best person for the job. He is a match for our goals in dual language and social justice and equity. And he and I are very much aligned in our philosophy about how you treat students and staff members. So I'm very happy to be having him join our team. And I'd like to have the opportunity for all of you to meet him before you formally approve his hire. So we're happy to have him, and I hope you feel the same way.
So should we have Dr. De La Barrera come up here and maybe use a mic and say a few things, and then
Okay.
well, welcome.
Can you hear me? Okay, there you are. Thank you very much. It's technology. Well, anyway, thank you very much, Tracy. I really feel like this is a great fit for my background experience, and like you were saying, we are very aligned with our way of thinking and the vision for I think for the school, for the district. I think that one of the things that really struck me is the welcoming feeling that I experienced just from the very beginning. I think it is very important that we have that connection, relationship with not only with the students, with the staff, with the community. As a principal for 6 years in the dual language immersion program, we had around 1,000 kids over there. I think that what I learned is the importance of relationships. And I think that we can talk about, instruction, academics, but that piece is what really makes us all successful, not just a student, but also as administrators and also the collaboration. Collaboration with our parents, with the staff, that collaborative approach is, and the community is really what moves schools forward and districts forward. And I think that I felt that right away from the interviews. Even they were in Zoom, but you can tell something is different. And I think that I was absolutely right about that. This first week is starting on Monday. Already met so many great students, parents, already met parents. I visit every single classroom, get a chance to talk to all the teachers, and I'm very impressed with the whole culture that you have in this district. And what I'm hearing you hear also. You can tell right away the care that you have for each other, and I think that's what I think makes this a very different district from the other districts I worked before. So I'm very happy, and congratulations. And I think, and I wanted to say that Tracy, you obviously have done a great job. Neil too. Yeah. And but I also wanted to mention that Liz, our principal, the principal you had before, also have done an excellent job with the school. The transition is so smooth when you have something in place, which is a very tight program, and I think I'm blessed to be here. I'm very lucky. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. You can stay there for a second. So why don't we have the board members go around and introduce themselves? And as you've figured out, we just had elections, and there are two board members that are going to be leaving us, Tracy and Jaime. And we have two new board members will be coming on at the next meeting. But folks want to introduce yourselves?
Hola, Carlos. Yo soy Petrina y trabajé en North Windham por muchos años y estoy en la Junta de Educación, así que bienvenido.
I'm Ilda Ray, and my daughter's 19 now. She's in her second year of college. Tracy and I, her son and my daughter just graduated last year. And my daughter started at North Windham School in kindergarten. I love North Windham School. And one of her favorite teachers is here. I think he jumped ship and went down the road. Anyways, so this is my second term, going into my second term of the board. And I love our kids and I love our community. And it showed tonight when we were on Zoom tonight with Hartford Healthcare, how much we love our community. So I appreciate that. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Bienvenido.
Hi, I'm Mark Doyle, and along the same line of children.
Press the mic.
My youngest child is 35, and he started in the original Compañeros program at North Windham. So he's been involved for quite a while. Welcome. Hopefully that program will continue to grow.
Thank you. Yes, these two.
So the day that he came to visit us and have his final round of the interview, I asked for him to have a tour of the community, and I asked Robinson to take him for the tour, but fearful of where he might take him, I had Neil go with them to make sure that we made a good impression.
We're getting into any bars or anything. We will always, well, no, just going through, yeah. This is the best part. Okay, boom, we came through. Yeah. We didn't stop anywhere, so it was a great tour.
My name is Lynn Ide, and I'm currently the chair of the Board of Ed, and I have 3 children, all of whom went through Compañeros at North Windham School, and my middle child ended up being a teacher because of her experience at that school. And in first grade, she decided she wanted to be a teacher. First grade, North Windham School. And that's what she's teaching,
Congratulations.
elementary school age children. Mary?
Oh, yeah, we're sharing.
Thanks. Mary Gallucci, and I was until last year a parent. My 3 children went through Windham Public Schools, and they're all in university right now, and one is taking Spanish. So that's, they all benefited so much. They weren't in the Compañeros program, but being in a community like this, I've always said the 2 of them kind of gave up the Spanish a little earlier, but they have a great accent, because when you're surrounded by a language, you can understand and grow so much, and you're ready to get that ear training, et cetera. Welcome, and we're very happy to have you in our school district.
Thank you very much.
Jaime, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Jaime Gomez. I will translate what Katina told you for everybody else. She simply say, welcome, we're glad to have you here, and I'm outgoing member of the Board of Education.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome to
Thank you.
Wyndham. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for your service.
I'm Tracy Lambert. You probably know more about me than you want right now. I have had 3 children go through Windham Public School. My oldest is 26. He's a nuclear engineer. My daughter is a security officer, and my youngest is in school to be a nuclear engineer. Apparently, it's a family job now. And I have served on the board for 12 years. I am outgoing. Welcome you, and wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
My name is Brendan O'Neill. I'm the most recent addition to the board, having joined in March. I have 3 children in the schools. My son is actually at Norwich Tech, but he went through pre-K through 8 here in the district, and I have 2 daughters in 2nd and 3rd grade at Windham Center School, who also started all the way back in pre-K. Prior to my service on the board, I was the Director of Information Technology for the district, and I moved on to other things, but I have a love for the children of this district and came back to serve how I could. Welcome.
Welcome, Carlos. My name is Paula Haney. I served previously on the board some years back, but I've returned after serving on the Board of Finance because this is where I feel like I hopefully can do the most good and where I want to be. I had 3 children that went through the Windham system. They're a little bit older. My eldest is a teacher, and they all benefited from being in a diverse community. They all have made their way and done well, and we have Windham to thank for that. I want to welcome you. Your resume is outstanding. You sound, as Tracy said, like the perfect match for us, and look forward to seeing you here for many years.
So yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
And don't be afraid to follow your vice principal because she's fabulous.
I wanted to say that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I already worked with her like for like 3 days already. It is amazing. It is one of the things that really makes this transition. And as you see, my resume in all those years, most of those years I had no AP, so I was by myself. So having such a smart and well-organized and AP, it is like a luxury for me, and I'm really blessed with that too. Thank you.
And one of the things I love to do is make teams and partnerships, and it's a great team. I already know it, so.
Yeah, she's amazing.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you for being with us this evening. Later on in the agenda, we'll be taking action. You're welcome to stay with us. We would love to have you stay. And we're sorry we missed the sort of reception time with you because of a misunderstanding and timing. But please help yourself. There's things to drink and eat back here, and other people who are here, help yourselves while we're going to move forward with the meeting.
Right, thank you.
Okay? Yep. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. I'll take a motion to approve the October 13th minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Paula, was it? Brendan, okay.
I almost got there.
I don't know, I could just hear a noise from that end, so. So all those in favor of the, or is there any discussion, any additions on those minutes? All those in favor? Any opposed? And I'm abstaining because I missed that meeting. And then I'll entertain a motion to approve the October 27th.
So moved?
Second.
Moved by Tracy, seconded by Ilda. Any comments or concerns about those minutes? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? I'm abstaining. Yeah. And Paula, yeah, thanks. And Jaime. Yeah. Okay. So now we're on to the superintendent's report. And we're talking about COVID.
What a shock. A little more information about COVID, just in case you were wondering. I am tired of talking about it. I wanted to go away. I pretty much say that every day to our COVID team, so they're tired of hearing me say it, but it hasn't gone away yet, so I'll just bring you up to speed. So we currently have 5 staff members in either quarantine or isolation, and 53 students in either quarantine or isolation. The COVID team has resolved 759 cases, meaning that students went out. We waited to see if they got COVID. They came back. 759 cases for students and 66 cases for staff. So it's still very much a part of our daily goings-on. We have had 61 cumulative cases since the beginning of the school year for staff members and 18 cumulative cases. I'm sorry, I confused them, and I do this constantly. I don't know why I have such a problem with this chart. 18 cumulative cases for staff members and 61 for students. So we are feeling good about this week because the numbers have dropped in terms of quarantine and isolations, but we, again, are still very much dealing with COVID. And in your packet, I made mention of the new program called Screen and Stay. We are still debating as a COVID team whether we're going to opt into that program. We're making a decision by Friday, and I'll bring the board up to speed if that's what the team decides to do. It is designed to reduce the amount of quarantines and isolations that students are forced to go into if they're identified as a close contact. But the way it's written, there are many stipulations that don't apply. So it's a lot of work and not necessarily a lot of benefit for that work. So we're trying to balance it. We obviously desperately want our kids to be in school as often as they can be. We don't want them to be missing school because they're identified as close contacts. So more to come on that. We're trying to work that through. Planning stages of a vaccine clinic for our 5 to 11-year-old students. So more information will be pushed out as soon as we confirm with the hospital. It's not the local hospital, it's Griffin Hospital, and they would be bringing vaccine to us, and we'd have a site identified in the district to allow families who would like to have their students who are 5 to 11 years old vaccinated. So more to come on that. Also, we are going to be moving to, I don't know if you all get our push alerts, the text messages, and when it tells us that when we tell the district or the community that there's a positive case. We're going to be moving to doing that only once a week. We'll still continue to have our daily dashboard, which can be found on our website. There's a big COVID button on the home screen of our website. You hit the COVID button and it brings up the whole dashboard. We'll be updating that daily as we do now, but we're only going to be pushing out weekly reports probably starting next week. So I just wanted to let the board know that that was happening. So I think that, the only other thing I wanted to let the board know is because of COVID, the Sweeney Feast is going to be a little different this year, and we didn't want the board members to be confused because the Sweeney Feast, as most of you know, is that annual tradition where they feed the entire school together and a whole bunch of guests. They are not feeding all the students together in their cafeteria. They're feeding them in separate classrooms, and they're trying not to invite people in for obvious reasons. So the interim principal, Katie Firth, wanted me to let the board know. They are still going to write up the article in the Chronicle, and you might be reading about the fact that they're trying to do some semblance of the Sweeney Feast, but it's not going to be the same as it has been in years past. And Cammie's here, so she knows the planning at Sweeney's school. So we're glad the kids are going to get an opportunity to take part in at least a portion of the Sweeney Feast. So that's COVID.
Are there any questions for Dr. Youngberg? Okay. You can just forge right ahead then with the rest
Moving
of
right
the
along.
items.
Okay, then we get to the Barrows crew that looks like they have quite a showing over here. All right. We like clapping. We like clapping and celebrating. You can stand up, Barrows. So as I made, well, yes, that, but first we're going to do the whole school. As I made mention to the board at the last meeting, the C.H. Barrows STEM Academy was recognized by U.S. News and World Report as placing in the top 30% of the elementary schools in the state of Connecticut and the top 30% of the middle schools in the state of Connecticut. So this is a pretty impressive distinction. They are of the 80,000 U.S. public elementary and middle schools that were evaluated by the U.S. News and World Report. Less than 1,000 earned this distinction, so that's a pretty big deal. So we wanted to celebrate C.H. Barrows STEM Academy. We have a certificate that we will, round of applause. Mr. McClure. We know you're going to probably want to put this in a frame, but we wanted to celebrate you all. And we know that once we square away things with the U.S. News and World Report, you'll be able to use that distinction on your website and in your email and all that, and we'll be getting the school a banner and a plaque because we're really proud of you.
Already on that. Of the microphone?
You want to bring that out or? Somebody short.
Yes.
Already? I'm not smiling.
All right.
Sure. I always wanted to talk in one of these microphones. Couple things. First of all, I'd like to thank Tracy, because if it wasn't for her email actually responding to the U.S. News thing, I was totally going to delete it because I get so much junk mail every day. I thought it was junk mail. And I saw it pop up on my inbox, and I didn't even get to it yet, and I saw yours pop up first, and I'm like, what is this? So Thank you for that. Would have been embarrassing. Do enough of that on my own. But one thing I just wanted to say is I'm proud of the fact that we got this from the perspective of it's totally unsolicited. And so for like the teachers, the staff, the students to get the recognition, it really validates the hard work that they put in on a daily basis. So I'm most proud, I think, from that perspective. So, and one of our tech gurus, Chelsea over there, we're already working on the whole thing for the to get the little symbol and the plaques and everything. We'll talk to you about the banner.
Yes, that's right, the banner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Excellent. So congratulations, Barrows, and congratulations, Nicole Bay and Christian Colliger, for your earning of the $27,000 award for urban farming for food and STEM. I mean, that's just an unheard of amount of money to be thrown at our students to make amazing things happen. And so they have that project going on at Barrows, but Nicole has also asked the district to fund smaller versions of their project in all of our schools. So she's working on coordinating that for us because it is an opportunity for our students to take part in a project-based learning that actually has major value for their, you know, nutrition potentially, understanding of science, and just, you know, becoming better humans. So thank you, Nicole. Congratulations.
Do you want to say something, Tracy?
Because I can cause trouble now, I think we should ask the town to match it. Matching funds.
Okay, Tracy. We're going to have to give Tracy some side jobs.
We can just make that your task now. Yeah, you can go.
All right, I think that's all we have for Barrows. I don't know, you don't have to stay. You're welcome to stay. I just wanted to, you know, we celebrate you tonight and let you know that we're really proud of you, Barrows staff members.
We are really proud of you. Great work.
That's right, Tim. Good thinking, Tim. All right. That's right, former North Windham. Okay, the next item on my report is just in your packet, you found more information about Windham High School's participation in the FAFSA challenge. The goal for all the high schools that have opted in is to increase their FAFSA completion rates by at least 5% from last year's, wherever their rate was last year. And the state has identified Windham High School as being in one of the tiers and has actually offered money, $7,500, to help with their strategies. Ms. Kavanaugh and her team went to an informational session just a few days ago, and they're putting together their action plan, and she'll share that with me, and then I'll share it with the board as to all the things that they have planned to increase the amount of families that complete the FAFSA. Obviously, that is a huge piece of entry into college and explaining to our students and their families how college could become affordable and accessible. So we want them to meet that goal of the 5% increase, at least.
Do we know what the high school percentage was last year?
I know this,
get it for you,
yes.
but I don't know the
And we actually gave it to the board. I will get you the information.
The last packet?
No, it was in the packet where we talked about the coordinator that UConn and the State Department of Ed was bringing into the high
All
school.
right, I'll look it up there, it's fine.
We were identified as a high school in need of having some supports there because of the percentages. It's not high enough, so that's why we need to make it higher.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, and also in your packet was an update about the solar project at North Windham Elementary School. If you all remember, this was the project where they were going to put the solar grid in the very back portion of North Windham School's play area, but closer to the woods. But the Planning and Zoning Committee decided that there was going to encroach on too much of the property where the students might be, you know, playing or have access to that grounds, and decided they were not going to approve the project. Instead, they have decided that they're going to add the grid to the new roof that's supposed to be put in before next school year or around the start of next school year. So that's also the update's also in your packet. I don't have any other information other than they're trying to explore to see if it could be put on the roof. And then there's a whole process of that happening. So I'll keep the board up to date on it. I don't know if there's any questions, but.
Are there any questions?
Okay, nope, that's all I
Thanks.
have.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And so now we're on to some first readings of things. The first reading of the Board of Education meeting dates, including the committee meetings, that's in our packet here. And we have until when in December to take action on this? Okay. Yeah. So I would like to make a suggestion that because we have some new board members coming on and some transitions happening in the board, that when we meet in December, we'll need to be naming the committees and the chairs of those committees, and also there is some other committees that we're talking about putting together. So I would suggest that the board meeting dates are pretty straightforward, but we will probably need to do some work in the month of December on the second sheet, which has the proposed committee meeting dates, because those dates and times were chosen by some people who may or may not be on those committees anymore. And with new incoming committee members, for example, what if somebody's on the policy committee and they work and they work past 4 o'clock in the afternoon? So I'm just forewarning the board that I think we're going to have to make some changes to those meeting dates. Does anybody have any thoughts on any of that? Or
Lynn, can I make a comment?
yes.
I think that the Board of Ed should meet weekly, starting December.
All right.
Brendan, you want to turn off her microphone, please?
Yeah, this is
For 10 more minutes, you're not taking it from me.
this is so that we could be meeting every Wednesday night and Tracy can be sitting at her house watching us. Yes, yep.
I'll leave.
Jaime, did you want to say something? No, I thought you were, okay.
He agreed.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Lynn,
Thank you, Jaime.
Lynn,
Yes?
I'm a little concerned about the fact that Janet is not going to be with us. And what about if we leave those committee dates and depending on the composition that you decide of the board, then each committee decides to review it or not, or to leave it? Just
That's what, I'm not saying every one of these would change,
okay,
but
thank you.
I don't think we can decide what days
Sure.
and times of days we're going to be meeting until we know what the committee composition is. The reason I asked Janet when we had to finally decide was that we do need to take action in December, because it is required that these meeting dates and times be posted. And then going into 2022, if we change up all these meeting dates and times, then they're all special meetings. And that's an issue too. So,
Okay. Thank you.
yes, Mark.
So does that mean that we'll have all the committees on here? I mean, I know at
Yeah.
one of the last board meetings, we voted for the curriculum committee, which I don't see here, which should be
Right.
a major one, but.
Yep. We're going to need to
so
do that.
We'll update this.
Yeah,
at the same
so in
time.
December, we'll need to be taking action on populating the committees and, who the committee chairs are and things of that sort, okay? And that's why I want to have conversations with all the board members in the coming weeks, so that when we go into December, we know what people's interests are, okay? Anything else? Brendan, you have your hand on your mic. I didn't know whether you were about to press it. No?
No,
Okay.
just it makes sense to hold off on December until this.
Okay. So the first reading of the proposed calendar for the 2022-2023 budget process. Oh my gosh, we're coming up to that. So this is when outgoing board members may start feeling better, when we start talking about going into the budget process. We'll have to take final action on this at the December 8th meeting, but this is the proposal, and Dr. Youngberg, is there anything you want to say about any of this?
Just that I'm with you. I can't believe this is going to be the third budget that my team and I prepare. It just feels like it was really an eternity, and then it went by like that. So both things simultaneously.
It's pretty straightforward. Does anybody have anything they want to say to it now? Otherwise, we'll be acting on it in December.
I
Oh,
just want to comment
yes.
on how far Dr. Youngberg has taken both the finance process and the budget book since 12 years ago, when it was either 800 pages or 6 pages. So it's been much more comprehensive the past 2 years, and I want to appreciate you for that.
Thank you very much, and I have to
cleaned up.
thank you. I appreciate that. I have to celebrate my team. The budget book is a work of art. I agree with that, and Rita Parsiak and the whole leadership team that pitches in has really done an amazing job with that. So to me, it's like one of the cornerstones of making sure that the students get what they need. Having a sustainable and easily understood budget is really important. So I think we'll continue using that. So I appreciate that.
Yes, Paula?
I just want to mention that I liked seeing that the school governance councils are being listened to very early in the process. I know there were some years when they weren't necessarily heard, and I'm really glad to see that moved so far up and so far ahead. I don't know, whichever way, but closer to January than the end of the budget season. So that's good to see. Thank you.
Well, on that note, it was nice to have the school governance council members all in our packet for this meeting too. And I do think that we should be moving into 2022 thinking about ways to connect with those governance councils as a board moving forward. So.
Yeah, and I have to thank Robinson Camacho for putting together that list for us and making sure the process was carried through in all the schools. So it's a really important piece of parental and community engagement.
So, and then we have the first reading of the proposed school calendar for 2022-2023. And that is in our packets. And Dr. Youngberg, do you want to say something?
So it is in your packet, but you should have a copy of the most up-to-date calendar. It should have been handed to you when you sat down. Hopefully everyone has one. If not, we're going to get you one.
I don't think I got one.
Okay, so
it's
Janet's
in
on
color.
getting copies. And then I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Weathers because he was the one gathering feedback about the calendar.
Oh, thank you. So Neil, do you want to, Mark, go ahead. Oh, okay. Neil, did you want to say something about this, please?
So this year, the intent was to get the calendar to the board sooner so that we could do the 2 readings and actually publish our calendar earlier in the year, which is similar to many other districts in the area. So we basically put out a calendar. First, we looked at the regional calendar that EastCom puts out. And just so everyone knows, several years ago, there was a law or practice put into place where certain areas followed a regional calendar. And even though EastCon continues to do that, that practice has gone away, and districts sort of have their freedom that they used to. Dr. Youngberg has tried to reach out to several districts in the area and try in terms of like vacations the best we can, but there's deviations among districts, so it's very difficult to do. So then we reached out to the unions. We actually had a brief meeting Friday. We were getting email feedback, and we made some adjustments accordingly based on the feedback from the groups.
Anybody have any questions about the calendar that's been put in front of us? We're not taking action tonight. What, Ilda?
I'm sorry, I just asked Katina the My question was, the Three Kings Day, is it on the 6th of January? And she said yes, so that was my only question. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Epiphany, so that's when it's celebrated.
It's always January 6th is Epiphany, yeah.
Lynn, may I say something?
Yes, go
Very
right
serious,
ahead.
No joking this time. I just want to encourage the board to take a look at later start times for the high school next year, now that we're looking at the schedule. I've heard things from teachers and staff saying that high school students have to get their younger siblings off to school, and so getting to those first and second periods may make it more difficult. Sending the younger children earlier and the older children who often have to get their siblings off to school later might make it easier for them to be able to attend their first and second period classes. I had asked for this earlier this summer, and it wasn't a priority, I understand that, but I would like you guys to take a look, data-driven, and the attendance at the high school first period versus maybe third or fourth period once the elementaries are into school, and what that would look like. I think that sports are important for our students, but primarily we're here to educate them, and I'd like you guys to keep that forethought in your mind, that's the most important thing. And if sending our high school students later, which medical journals and stuff like that say is the best thing to do for them, maybe it's a practice that we follow.
Certainly something that we can, that was brought up earlier by you. It didn't get into the retreat this year, but we should be talking about it. Maybe we can have one of the committees take a look at that for us. Anything else?
I agree with that.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for getting this to us at this early date. I do think parents and staff would appreciate having a calendar adopted earlier rather than later, so. Okay, so now we're on to action items. And the first action item is approval of budget transfers. The Finance and Audit Committee met and talked about this and has brought a recommendation forward. And Rita sent out some numbers to us in the past couple of days before this meeting. And Mark, is there something you'd like to run through with us, please?
Unless there's specific questions, no, I don't think there's anything that I need to point out. We talked about this briefly at the last meeting with the minutes of the committee. These just weren't in the package, so I'll answer, or Rita or I will answer specific questions, but I don't have anything in particular.
So would somebody put a motion on the floor for the dollar amount?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Mark, seconded by Katina, but the dollar amount is?
$287,888.
So the
Total
motion's been
transfers.
made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Because Rita and the team have been so good at reporting to us on a monthly basis, I think that this is pretty straightforward. And so I guess we'll take a vote. All those in favor of the motion on the floor? It's unanimous. Thank you. And then,
Lynn, I have a question.
yes.
It's Rita.
Oh.
I had another transfer in there for the payroll. The payroll transfer, it was like $1 million. And I highlighted the transfers from grants that you had asked me to highlight.
Yeah,
in the latest one, I highlighted, but
Right.
yes.
Right, the email that we got from Rita the other day had a lovely set of highlighted grant allocation coded so that we can figure out what's coming from where. Thank you.
So that's-
But you need action on a different transfer, you're saying?
Yes, that's a different, that's the transfer I'm talking about, is a salary transfers that had the highlighted amounts that are going to or from grants.
Mark doesn't look like he's remembering that,
I
but
remember, but we don't have it here in front of us.
it was emailed to us the other day. Here you go,
Right.
Mark.
Right.
Did it need to be a separate motion?
Do we need a separate motion on that? Yes, I think
Yes.
we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So the motion is to transfer it's on the third page, I think, there.
going to be on the fourth page.
Fourth page.
Yeah, the motion is to transfer 1.246347, $1,246,347, which has indicated the money that we moved from grants and to compensate for those salary positions.
So Mark put that motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second by Ilda. Any discussion? Was it pretty clear to folks when they got that in their packets?
Yes.
Again, Rita, thank you for sending that to us. And all those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. And here we are to the final action item of the evening. Back to the approval of the principal of North Windham School. Who I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We were going to say his name.
Second by Katina.
Thought we were going to say his name.
Carlos de la Barrera.
I
Yes.
move to appoint Carlos de la Barrera as the principal of North Windham School.
There you go. Second.
Second.
And we had a nice chance to get to know you, and thank you for being here with us this evening. And is there any further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor?
It's unanimous.
Well, did Mark raise his hand?
Mark.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay.
It was my left hand.
So it is unanimous.
Well done. Bienvenido. Don't, I know, don't do it.
Yeah.
I know. I won't.
Congratulations. Is there anything you'd like to say on your official appointment?
Just thank you very much. I'm so blessed and very happy to be here.
Oh, I love that word, blessed.
All of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
You are a blessing.
Okay, is there any public, yes.
I have something to say before I leave.
Tracy, is this,
Not about me leaving.
is this on public comment?
No, it's a board thing.
Okay.
I let you know the other day that I was going to say something. I
Oh, that's
sit
right.
on
I'm
the
so-
board of directors for the school-based health center, where I hope to continue as a community member. Lynn will have to appoint a board member to start going to those meetings. Pretty easy. We meet twice a year, usually Monday mornings from like 8 to 9 or 9:30. I'm honored to sit on that, and we discuss lots that's going on. Mental health issues are up with our students, unsurprisingly, after a COVID year. Some physical health issues are up, but not as much as the mental health issues are up. They're dealing with lots of stuff. They are now able to bill insurance, which helps. If you don't have insurance, that doesn't mean you can't come. If you're able to build insurance, something I shared with the group was when my children started hearing about school-based health center, I thought it was for people who are uninsured or underinsured. It's not. It's for any student that goes to Windham Public School. I've known this for a while because I've sit on the committee for a while. But I wanted to make sure that that information gets out there to the public. They're also going to ask to add some stuff to our district website, kind of advertising themselves, letting them know what services they offer and how to access them and stuff like that. They are fabulous, and they are willing to come and make a presentation to the board if it's something that the board wants or finds amenable and stuff like that. I met with them. They had their meeting not this past Monday, a week ago Monday. And Lynn Weeks, who's a former Board of Ed member, has worked very hard and tirelessly for this committee and to make sure they're fully staffed right now, which is something they haven't been in a very long time. Doctors, Generations, and other community organizations, attend these meetings. And they just asked me to relay to keep in the forefront that, they're there and that they're here to help all the students, not just a small or large percentage of our population. And I felt like it was, my duty before I leave. Lynn Weeks really kind of pressed me to make sure that I got the word out that they'd like to be, more involved in board meetings and giving information and stuff like that. They're having a hard time because people have the same perception I have, meeting all of their students where they need to be met. But they've started groups for students who are having a hard time dealing with being back in the classroom, social anxiety, that kind of stuff, COVID anxiety. And they're reaching more students than they ever have before. So they're becoming more and more successful as each year passes. They've been here, I believe, like 26 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people have the perception that I have, and it's there for strep tests and COVID tests, and they can do a whole gamut of things right on site. So feel free to reach out to them if you're a parent watching, and board members, continue to advocate for them, please.
How often do they meet?
Twice a year. So we'll be dealing with that. I do think I made a note, and in my job, as you can expect, I do a lot of work with the school-based health centers. So it is a big issue. The mental health needs of youth right now is exploding, and I'm sure Katina knows that as a social worker. But we should be inviting Lynn Weeks to come in and do an update for us on what's going on with the school-based health centers. So maybe we could put that on the agenda for one of our future, meetings.
All of their mental health providers are fully caseloaded, so they're making referrals, and those that, can get private therapy and stuff like that, they're suggesting that, but they're not turning any students away. It's just a bit difficult on that end of it right now, but they're happy to be able to provide those services, so.
Thank you.
I was just going to add that we have moved, far and long and good. It was approved in the 80s when I was in the board. And they also take students from UConn for counseling, and so they work very well with everybody. And my only wish is that we would extend the health services to the elementary schools, because start at the high school, then middle school. I would love to have that.
And Barrows has one as well.
Yeah, I meant,
Yeah.
Barrows, 3. Yeah.
It's always a matter of funding.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So,
Other little mini report I had to give
Yeah.
was last night in mediation, we reached a tentative agreement with the teachers union, and Cami Nyland Poirier is behind me here. She's the president of the teachers union. I'm thrilled with the work we did. It's not always easy, but sometimes it was even a little bit fun, and it was a good group to work with. And today we reached a almost tentative agreement with the custodians. So moving those contract negotiations along, trying to finish those up before I leave. I don't think there are any open ones right now other than finishing those 2 up. Nurses, custodians, and teachers should be coming down the pike. Stephanie? Nothing else open right now, right? No, okay.
that's a big deal.
The teachers' contract negotiations were stressful but thrilling, and they were a good group to work with, and I think we came to a good conclusion that will hopefully make everybody happy. Neil was there fairly late last night. I was there. Stephanie and Rita were there. Jess was there. Sharon from Shipman and Goodwin was there. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. So we came to a
Paula.
Oh, Paula. I'm sorry, Paula. I'm not gonna say. Paula was there. She's going to pick up the mantle and run with it now. I'm sorry, Paula. You were right next to me. My apologies. So it was an interesting process, and I was really grateful for it. So I just wanted to let you guys know. What? And we thought we'd be there till 10 or 11. My kids didn't wait dinner for me, and Stephanie said at the beginning, we'll be done at 8:30, and at 8:18, I think we finished
Oh,
our
that's
mediation,
great.
so it was fabulous. I think maybe me too. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. We'll wait to hear the final outcome.
Thank you, Tracy.
And take action on the final outcome. Yes. Is there anything else? Any public comment? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn Tracy and Jaime's last official board meeting.
We move! Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.